folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a great show for you with my co-host Lucky Stone and my special guest Dalibor Suchi. Thank you for being here tonight as
Pleased
we
to be
talk
here.
about the eclipse. And you've all heard about the eclipse, but most people are asking about what is coming with the eclipse. I'm asking what's going to happen after the eclipse. That's the thing. What do you think?
Well, an eclipse is generally speaking kind of a rare event, especially a total eclipse like the one that's coming up. If you look at the NASA maps for all the past eclipses and the future eclipses, it's actually uh, on the verge of unpredictable. It just looks like random squiggles on the map, no
Mm-hmm.
rhyme or reason. And there's not a whole lot of them, and some areas are conspicuously devoid of eclipses, like uh, when I checked, it avoids for the most part, Europe, which is interesting, at least for the time periods that I checked it out for. Um, it's an unusual event. It doesn't happen very often, and because it's kind of a rare celestial alignment that causes it to happen, with the sun, the moon, and the Earth have to be in just the right spot to get it to appear that way. Except that what's really daunting about the map is the fact that they look like squiggles, and they're always at like 45-degree angles going up or down. Now, to those of us who went to high school, and we know that the Earth rotates at a 23-degree angle around the sun, supposedly, then why would it make a 45-degree upward sloping trajectory covering any portion of the Earth? Why would it do that? Shouldn't it be
Mm-hmm.
23 degrees, right? And why
Yep.
do the squiggles look so random? If it's like a regular, if the solar system operates like clockwork, shouldn't those trajectories be much more regular and predictable than what they
Oh
look
yeah.
like?
Oh, I know. I know.
And
It's
it's kind of an anomaly, and a lot of people are kind of afraid of this particular eclipse because, you know, uh, no matter how you look at it, the United States appears to be going through some kind of an internal crisis. It looks like the country is about to go insane, from my perspective at least. And there's a lot of anxiety connected with this. And I've heard that I don't know if it's the Customs and Border Patrol or FBI. They even formed like a special division to handle the eclipse. Like, what gives? Why? Why would they do that? Since when has it ever risen? Since when has any celestial event risen to the level of, an event of national importance?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I get the fact that there's anxiety connected to it and that it's making an X over Texas when you overlay it with the partial solar eclipse that happened 2 years ago, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
it makes an X over Texas, and Texas has an X right in the middle of it, the name
Yep.
Texas.
Right.
And the interesting thing is that this is supposed to happen on the 8th of April, which would be 8/4, or as you guys would write it, 4/8. And just yesterday, there was an earthquake in, of all places, New Jersey, which never gets earthquakes. And this earthquake was a 4.8 magnitude, and it was 4.7 kilometers beneath the surface of the earth, which is very close to 4.8. It's like that date is being reinforced in the other numbers,
Oh,
which is
absolutely.
also kind of interesting because you see that a lot in suspicious events.
Yeah. I like that suspicious events.
Mhm.
But Lucky, you were closest to this thing. Did you feel anything?
Not anything. I got the alert from people around me saying, "Oh, did you feel that? Did you feel that?" And I'm like, I think I did feel something, but I thought it was because, unfortunately, in my city or where I live, Friday is trash day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when the earthquake hit near here, because a lot of people felt it in my area, I thought it was a trash truck driving by.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah. Yeah, it's really not,
See,
that
thing,
big of a. You're
I,
far away.
I lived in New Jersey for 27 years, and I've never experienced an earthquake. I've lived through what other people later told me was an earthquake, but I personally never felt anything.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
yeah.
geologically speaking, it's a dead zone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is I've heard so many people talk. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. They're saying it's going to affect the animals. It's going to affect the zoo animals. You better watch out. It's going to affect your cell service. The National Guard is coming out. The food in the stores is going to run out. You better get there and
Oh,
get some quick. You better, watch out. You better hunker down and stay in your house because things are going to happen. Don't look at the sun. Oh my gosh, NASA's sending rockets to 3 rockets to the explode on the moon or something. CERN is going to be turned on. The earthquakes are going to come. The sun is going to be blacked out. Oh my goodness, the world may end. Wars may start. I'm
mhm.
thinking literally like, what? We've had eclipses for thousands and thousands of years. They've
Mhm.
made plenty of X's. I've looked it up. It's happened before. It ain't like this is the first X that's ever happened. Um, but the thing is now everybody's panicking. They're running for the hills, but it's not that at all. I'm thinking, like I said, my question is not so much what is going on, because we're going to be talking about that with Nina on her a Rumble channel tomorrow night. Link is up here in the chat. But anyway, or that you can follow her like on Facebook or something. But check it out. We're going to be over there. But here's the thing, and I'll drop it in the chat again. But or Nina will, or someone, we will get it to you. But you join us over on Rumble tomorrow. We're trying to go to Rumble. Here's the thing. When all this is said and done, what will our future life bring? If this is such a conspiracy, why are they doing all of this? Are they trying to change our lives? And what will our lives look like when the National Guard is patrolling the streets and the food is gone from the stores and the earthquakes have come? Are they telling us something in our background that our lives will be changed after all of this?
Mm, who knows? Because the previous celestial event that was supposed to be of great importance, that would have been 21st of December 2012, right? And what happened on that date? Well, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. There was a big snowstorm here in Germany, and that's about it. But that's another one of these like psyops where they try to focus all of people's attention on this one upcoming event, get as many people to panic as possible for God knows what reason. Maybe it's to affect the stock market,
Yeah.
or some other market indicator, because somebody's making money off it. Because don't forget, if this is all over the news, it's always a press release. There's almost no news in the news today. It's all a
Mhm.
press release because there's never been like a nonprofit eclipse, right?
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere is making money off of it,
Well, and that's the thing
or I should
too
say,
is
making money off the reactions of the people watching this.
yes. Well, exactly. And there's people that buy into this. My buddy, he was he's sending me these videos and stuff. It's not an eclipse. It's not an eclipse. It's what did he call it? Some other eclipse, not an eclipse, eclipse or something like that. Ellipse. That's what he said. It was not an eclipse. It's an ellipse. And I'm like, well, what?
No, that's a misnomer. No, an
Yes.
ellipse is a shape that looks like kind of like an oval. It's like a circle, except the circle has only one focus point, but an ellipse has two focus points.
Well, exactly. And I says that's just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all bunk. It's all fake. It'll get you to lose your mind, and
Hmm.
just forget about it. Other people are saying, "Oh, the one video had a little girl on saying, mommy, the Earth doesn't revolve around the sun. The Earth and the moon revolve around us. They're up in there, and they're just going round and round. I'm like, and he's like, see, that proves flat Earth is right. The little kids are saying it. I'm like, oh my God, you've lost your mind. You've given up reality, and you're trusting a child to tell you that the Earth is flat, not round. Is this I mean, I hate to say it, good guy, but come on, think a little scientific. A little child says the Earth is flat. I'm not going to go with that.
A little child's also going to tell you Santa Claus is real, right?
Yes.
So you can't take that as the word of authority. No, if everybody's going to be watching the sky, who's going to be watching things like the gold prices, the silver prices, or other prices on the open markets? That's what I'm thinking. That it's some kind of a diversion from something much more important.
Well, speaking of that, oil prices have increased tremendously in the last few days, and the stock market has been crazy good. So is this driving up people to buy? And the gold prices spiked. Is this driving up the future of our society with high-priced gold, high-priced oil, people, hiding in the dark and raiding the stores? Is that why they're, are we looking for a military or maybe a post war society after the eclipse? Like military people in the streets, because so many people have thought that this was a changing event, and from now on, this is the normal.
Well, see, the biggest disaster that's happening in North America is the ongoing currency collapse. Except that nobody's taking notice of it because it's happening so slowly. And I'll give you a good example. When I was up in Canada, typical house up there cost $7,000 to $8,000 Canadian dollars. Nowadays, in that same city, you go online and you check out the house prices, it's $700,000 to $800,000. So, and I'm comparing prices from 40 years ago. So in 40 years, the price of an average house has gone up in Canada by 100-fold, right? Now, what if in the meantime, in that same 40-year period, what has gold and silver done, right? Gold was always like $250, $300. Now it's like $2,000. In other words, gold went down despite what it looks like. Same with silver. Silver cost like $5 back then. Nowadays, it's like, 30 euros. Silver went down.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
now's the time to buy the commodities like that, if you want to buy commodities, that is.
Well, and gold is up. Nina says it's $2,340 an ounce now.
It's down because the dollar is down. Because if you compare it to what $300 bought you 40 years ago, and what $2,000 buys you today, it's night and day.
Yeah, that means our money is worth. People don't see you described it good, but people don't realize that our money is worth less and less every day. And you can tell that through the gold price. So here she says
in 1900 an ounce of gold cost $2.50. In 1900 the average wage was $1 a day.
Yes,
does it all.
Exactly. And now what do people make? An average of what, $20 an hour? Maybe more. I mean, come on. Come on, people, be real. If you're making $20 and you said what, $1 a day, so break that down, and do the math, people, because I'm not good at that. But the point is it's so figure $20 is like 20 cents. I mean,
even less. Even less. Because don't forget, people used to work more than 8 hours back in 1900. 12 hours a day. 12-hour days were the norm. If you were working 8 hours a day, you were like a slacker. So it was only later with the labor movement that they got that codified to 8 hours a day being the most you can make somebody work for. And with the passages of laws that protected laborers, like the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy how the prices have gone up. They've inflated our money. Well, we're living on the petrodollar, and so after these eclipse, maybe our money, we are, well, Courtney says we're living in an illusion. Yes, that's exactly right. We're living in the illusion of this petrodollar and our money being worth so much when it's really worthless.
It's worth so little, yeah. And just today, I was looking at my old high school. I went to a Catholic school, and back then, my parents were paying like something like $1,200 a year. Nowadays, it's $13,500 a year for a high school. For a high school, okay?
Wow.
That's
Wow.
just. And considering the fact that it's a Catholic high school, I would call that a sin.
Well, and that's the thing, um, all the prices have gone up, and we don't know
Mhm.
what to do with those prices.
Mhm.
We just keep, off the hook says we keep printing our own money, and then, but why do we pay taxes? But
Yeah.
wait a minute, let's clear this up. We don't print the money. This is you're missing the point. We don't print it. The Federal Reserve, which is a private organization, prints the money. We get the money from them by borrowing it, and then we pay interest on that money.
Yeah. Every $1 bill comes into existence as a $1 IOU in essence, right?
Yeah.
Because it's exactly as what you said. The Fed prints the money, and in return for that, they make the U.S. government sign an IOU for that money plus the interest. In other words, there's never enough money in circulation to pay off that original amount plus the interest. So you got to print more money and borrow more money so you can pay the original interest and then some, right? In other words,
Mhm.
it's an unwinnable game.
Yep. It really is. It is. You
And
just
it
win.
only works with like constantly rising populations and rising standards of living, which are not predictable and not sustainable because we're getting to a bottleneck point where for whatever reason they've decided that they don't want as many of us on this planet as there used to be. I mean, we have no way of verifying how many people are on this planet. They say 8 billion, right? We have
Yeah.
no way of verifying any of that, but let's just say it is 8 billion. Well, they obviously don't want that number to go to 10 billion because they say that that's not sustainable. So what other way can they make that figure go down than devaluing the currency? I mean, the whole crisis in Ethiopia in the 80s, if you remember that wasn't caused by famine. That was caused by a currency crisis where their currency got so devalued, and it was because of a deal they made with the IMF of all people, where these people couldn't afford to buy the produce that they themselves were growing.
Yeah, and that's sad. You
Yeah,
can't buy my own stuff.
they couldn't buy their own stuff. Yeah, so it wasn't because they had like a bad luck with like the weather turning bad on them or whatever. No, it was purely financial.
Yeah. Lucky you're over in the East Coast. Things there are very expensive. That I do know. East and West Coast are the most expensive places to live, the most expensive places to do anything. Drive a car, buy a house. What do you see going on there in your area?
See, you've got a problem with me because everything works out for me. Um, when you have a poor mentality that you're always taking everything so expensive, shit is expensive. But
Yeah.
for me, I always can find a way of finding things that are economical. I can always have a little money because I always have that thing. But I always walk around and literally pick up coins when I'm walking.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
these always have value no matter what. This is garbage. This is paper.
Hmm.
When it
Hmm.
goes away, it's gone. But
Mhm.
these, if the dollar goes away, these still have metal value.
Hmm.
Even the penny's worth more than a cent. That's a dime, but the penny.
Yes.
So that's the one thing that I always get in my mindset. It's always from day one is, I mean, I'm a coin hoarder. I don't care what anyone says. I'm fine with, hoarding the coins because if the economy goes to shit,
Hmm.
as long as you have coins, you'll be able to get something for them. Paper
Mhm.
money,
Mhm.
it's useless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
every
yeah,
every single one of the U.S. coins is actually worth more in metal than it is in its nominal value. Every single one of
exactly,
them.
exactly. So
And
that's why I mean, and they make it tough because although the laundromats they always have those coin machines, but
Yeah.
the banks don't like giving up coins.
yeah, I know. I can imagine. Well, a good example of that. I live in Germany, and uh, as many of you know, in 1922, 1923, they had a huge inflation here, where everything cost like billions and trillions
Oh,
of
oh yeah.
marks. And I was doing some gardening in my backyard, and I found a 1,000 Deutschmark banknote. It was like
Wow.
all tattered and dirty and everything. And so I checked it out on eBay, and even if it was in perfect condition, it would only be worth like 75 cents. But here's the thing. At that time when they had issued that, it was valid during the inflation, which means that it was worth like 2 cents. But before that, it was backed by 50 ounces of gold, that one banknote, because it was
Yep.
20 marks
Mhm.
instead of 20 marks per ounce, right? So rather than finding a tattered piece of dirty old paper, I would have rather found that 50 ounces of gold
Right.
Mhm.
in my backyard. You know, I
Yeah.
wound up actually just throwing it and putting it in the paper recycling because it's just so worthless.
Yeah. Well,
So
um,
that wasn't backed up by gold. It was after they took
It
it off the gold
it,
standard.
it was backed by gold, but by the time the inflation hit, it no longer was backed by gold. But at one point, it had been backed by gold.
Same in
it's
the
when
United
they
States,
took it off.
'70s. They took us off the gold standard. Which is
Yes.
the stupidest thing ever. I mean,
Hmm.
how to stabilize a dollar? Keep it on the gold standard. How to destabilize a country? Take it off the gold standard. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
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 Nixon did that in 1971. Yeah.
Yeah, good guy.
Um,
Good Democrat, Republican. Great, great, great.
Courtney's saying, does anyone here believe the positive shift is coming in regard to the money? Just curious. I believe the shift will be my favor. Well,
No, I
good
don't.
to have a great positive attitude. And that's kind of what we're talking about is after this eclipse comes, they're talking about all these things that are going to happen, which we're going to review over on Nina's show tomorrow. So join us there. But the point is that afterwards, no, well, maybe it will be a positive shift. Maybe this is all hoopla and it will
I
be positive.
mean, is Courtney talking about like Jasara and Asara? Because I think those are pipe dreams.
Yeah, I don't know, but I kind of see where
Sadly.
she's coming from is well after the shift, money will flow in. Our economy probably will get better, at least in her favor, because she has that positive attitude. And I know she
Mhm.
keeps a positive attitude, so good for her. I'm just saying is that in the big picture, I think prices are still going to keep going up.
Be the
There you go,
frequency.
Be
Lucky.
the frequency, one
Be
of
the
Steve. It's
be the
very
Yeah,
frequency.
important. It does work.
It
You
does.
know,
it does. It does. I
I mean,
agree.
even at work, when stuff hits the fan, I go, okay, guys, okay, let's assess situation. We can salvage this and come up better for it, and it does
Yes.
work. But you got to get that mindset. You've got to do what's right for you've got to get the right mindset because every obstacle is an opportunity.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if you're
It is.
stuck on the obstacle and stuck on how terrible it is, well, it's going to be terrible for a long time.
Hmm.
And she's got the positive attitude. Courtney, you're a beacon of light. She says, I'm excited about the changes from the eclipse. It's about time. See, and that's how we should be looking at all of this. But if you look at the news and the people talking and on TikTok and YouTube and all that, they're like, oh my God, the military. Oh my God, we're going to run out of food. It's going to affect your cell phone service. There will be no cell phones. Oh, the power might go off.
Hmm.
The military's coming out, and it goes on and on. It's like, they're shooting rockets up to the moon that day, and CERN is going to be turned on. Well, when they've turned CERN on a number of times, has it
Hmm.
affected your life? Come on,
No.
really,
Well,
people.
but
Most
fear
people
is
don't know when
very
they turn it on.
economical. Fear sells.
Yes.
Exactly. And like I
It gets the
said, it's
attention you're
probably
looking.
like I said, it's probably designed to manipulate some kind of number, some kind of statistic that's affected by fear, like
Hmm.
consumer confidence, for
Yeah.
example, or the I don't know, anything. I have no idea, like who's intending to profit from this, but somebody's going to profit from
Oh,
this.
yes, yes.
Yes.
There's always going to be someone profiting from
Yeah.
every terrible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's your mindset. But because after the eclipse, I do think that if you could go through it with that positive attitude, you'll come out on the other side a better person. I ain't letting it get to me. My buddy, like I said, my buddy called me, sent me all these TikToks, and he's like, "Whoa, boy, this, that," and little kids saying, "And these earthquakes are caused by the eclipse coming." And I'm like, "The eclipse ain't even here." And the New York earthquake was caused by the eclipse? Are you kidding? Well, it goes right through there, it's really close. And I'm like, it had what? Are you're
Yeah.
watching? I told him you're watching too much TikTok, for God's sakes. Put it down. Put
Mhm.
the phone down. Quit watching TikTok.
Here's a story from that last event, which was the 21st of December 2012. Everybody was really paranoid about that, especially here in Germany. And that day we got like a pretty big snowstorm. Also that day, I was supposed to pick up a friend of a friend at the airport,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that during the snowstorm. It was the
Mm-hmm.
safest ride on the highway I've ever experienced because there was nobody out. I had the whole road to myself. I just like went there, picked him up, took him back, took him back to her house, and that was the end of that. And everybody was like, "What? You went out during on 21st December of 2012? Are you crazy?" I'm like, "No, because nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Nothing happened to
Exactly.
me."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's your mindset.
Mhm.
And if we keep a positive mindset, we're going to be coming out top on the win. We're going to be the winners. We're
Sure.
going to be the
Yeah.
guy going down the road just like you, with no traffic, having a great time, safest ride you ever had. Life is good. Lucky. I think you said it too, that you don't think like that. You think with the poor mindset, like, hey, I'm poor, and then any money I get, I'm rich. And life is good. I get a good deal at the store because I found a sale or something, or found a penny on the ground. It's wonderful. I made money today. I found a penny. I'm a penny richer. you know.
Or this one flight that I took, that I didn't even plan it this way, but it happened to have been on a Friday the 13th, right? And that
Yep.
was another such instance where I get on the plane and I'm like literally one of 14 people on the whole plane. So I got to spread out. I had all my stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like a king.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah. Courtney says nothing has happened since 500 something AD, when it was supposed to happen. Well, and
Yeah.
that is true. It hasn't happened like they said about the New York earthquake. Well, it happens about every 150 years. Well, great. So it's 150 years, and here it's happened, and it's over with, and now we got to wait another 150 years.
Yeah, but
Okay,
even so,
done.
like earthquakes on the East Coast are extremely rare, and even when they do happen, they're of no consequence.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I
I mean,
said, I think.
I don't know about the New Madrid fault line. They say that that
Mhm.
was kind of big back in the 1830s or what, where there was like practically nobody living in that area of Missouri, Kansas, that place in the middle of the country. So I don't know. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's but whatever happens, it's just a shadow, right? It's just a shadow on the earth. It's
It
not going to
is.
affect anything. It's not going to affect the tectonic plates.
Oh, I've heard things as much as it's planet 9 or 10 or whatever it is, planet X, and that's what's going to make the shadow. It's not the moon at all. It's planet X, Nibiru. It's that planet, and that's what's going on. They're fooling all of us. I'm thinking,
No.
people are buying into this so badly. Raise yourself above it, put it to the
Hmm.
side, come out the backside of the eclipse and say, I was there, I survived it. I'm better off for it. Life is going to get much better. Maybe this is a thing where they want us to hide in our houses. So there is a like a spiritual change and our third eye opens or something. And they want us, hiding in the back room under the basement steps or something because, then you can't get your third eye to open because of that. I don't know.
I'm just gonna have a T-shirt made that says there was an eclipse and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Slightly slanted. Sleuth Steve is in the house. Thank you for being here. Yeah, he says a truth about the eclipse, divine union, aka the alchemical wedding. When the eclipse is viewed through the means of not being blinded to what you see, what looks like a wedding ring, the sheen in the sky, which is like the thing behind me here, where I can present that. But anyway, yeah, that's the whole point. This is all made up. My question, guys, is why are they doing this now? Why not in 2017 when the other one went through?
Well, there was some hype around that too, if you remember. There was a lot of people that were going out west to see it. Where allegedly it was supposed to be more visible out there. So, but yeah, I remember the eclipse of 2017, where even back then they were making a big deal of it.
Yeah, but I mean,
not as much as this time.
Oh yeah. This time,
that's because the tensions have really ramped up. Because what happened between 2017 and now? You had the George Floyd riots. That was very big, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The whole pandemic. That was big. That was an act of war against the middle class. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, exactly. Look, there's what you're going to see, people. That's what you're going to see. Not a whole lot to see there. The moon goes, covers up the sun. It's been doing it for millions of years. And you're going to see a little light. It's going to get dark out like night. It's going to be kind of reddish. And when after 5 minutes, the moon will move on, the sun will come back out, and we'll go back to our normal lives, and life will be good again.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't see some way or another. I just don't see the point to all of this. I think when we come out, huh?
It's a psyop.
Yeah, exactly. It's a psyop, and we're buying into it. And Steve says, "Yeah, it looks like a wedding ring." Yes, it is. And maybe all of this is a sign. Like I said, maybe it's a meaningful sign. Maybe this is how our third eye all opens up if you don't fall into the fear factor. Maybe this is the sign that says that good things are to come, or a passing of an age or something like that, because we are going from like Pisces into Aquarius or something like that. I can't remember which one we're going to. But I'm really always bad.
Well, we're supposed to be approaching the age of Aquarius, but
yes,
that depends on who you ask.
Yeah,
the dawning of the age of Aquarius since the 70s.
Yeah, since the 70s.
Long dawn, that's for sure.
Yeah, I remember that song. I think the name of the band was Fifth Dimension, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Age of Aquarius. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was like a disco song.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Man, I love those. They don't make good songs anymore. Where are all the good artists and singers and with the new ideas? And
no. They do make good songs. You have to look for them.
Yeah.
I found some great singers, but again, they're very small, and I get them on Spotify. But I go and I buy their CDs from them directly because Spotify doesn't pay them anything.
Yeah.
But yes, there are some great singers, but you're not going to hear it on the radio. But you will hear it through Spotify, and even Amazon Music has some of them. But Spotify to me has been fantastic.
Yeah.
But I also have TuneIn Radio and I listen to like small towns in Canada, small towns in the United States, where like the PBS stations, they'll get like the local groups into their stations just to play because you got to get something, you know. So if you pay
Mhm.
attention, you can get good music, but you know, it's not like it used to be. You can't just turn the radio and get good music unless you like
Mhm.
Taylor Swift. That's fine. If you like Taylor
Yeah.
Swift, good for you.
That's so true. It's like I said, it used to be. Remember Casey Kasson and the Top
Mhm.
40 Countdown, and
Oh
all
yeah.
that stuff is gone now. I don't know
It's all
who's
gone. It's
doing
all
what.
gone. It's all electronic. It's all what do you
Yeah,
call it? Tune, auto tune, auto tuning, and you know they
Mhm.
make it sound, but it's basically this is what will give AI the chance to make music, and it's going to make the same music that's popular because,
yep,
Mhm.
but the real good music that we like, AI will never be able to produce that
Mhm.
no,
because we know what we're listening for, we know what we want.
yeah, yeah, and well, AI will tell us what we want. That's how they do with fads. They create a fad like bell bottom jeans. We'll go with that, and they'll tell everybody, "Oh, you like the bell bottom jeans? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, everybody's wearing them. All the famous people." And so everybody runs on by the bell bottom jeans. Then they go to the skinny jeans and the tight jeans, and then guess what? Bell bottom jeans is back in. You better get yours right today.
And again, somebody's making money off of it because
Yes.
it's the same cloth, it's the same style, it's just a different width of the pants leg, right? So
Yeah.
somebody's making money off of it. That's the whole point of it. It's
Well,
just like with the latest fad in the United States, the Stanley Cup, right? It's a
Yeah.
piece of plastic. Yet people are going gaga over it and spending hundreds of dollars or whatever it costs, for a stupid piece of plastic,
I think it's only
essentially.
like $75, so it's not 100.
Is it? Oh,
Don't be
okay.
ridiculous. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
did.
It's a piece of plastic that at the most $20, and that's
Mhm,
still overpriced.
mhm,
Hmm.
Yeah, and I happened to be walking through Target when they had one of those the pink Stanley Cup things, and I said, "What's happening?" And I left. I just basically I turned and went the hell. I got the hell out. I don't know what was going on. I didn't know it was just that little cup because people going crazy. The people moved them out and they started trying to stack them up. People just taking them. They're ripping out of the boxes. They were ripping the box. I get to that, and I'm like, "This is not where I want to be," and I left.
yeah. Yeah. It's
It was like
um,
3 4 months ago. I think.
yeah, it's a
Hmm.
crowd mentality. The minute you get crowds involved, then you get the bandwagon effect, and people start behaving like total animals, totally irrational. And it's not a function of a nation's intelligence, because sometimes this can happen even in a very intelligent nation. Like a great example happened. I was born in Czechoslovakia. And in Czechoslovakia, towards the end of the communist regime, like 1988, there was a fad that consisted of like plastic shower curtain rings, right? Believe it or not, where, under the old communist system, the only way you could get shower curtain rings was in a opaque paper bag where you couldn't see inside. And when you got it home and you opened the bag, you got 20 rings, and they were all different colors. So one
Hmm.
guy decided that he wanted like all the same color, right, for his shower curtain. And so he bought like 20 bags. And back then they were like super cheap, like 0.03 cents per bag.
Hmm.
So he bought like 20 bags and assembled like a set of 12 rings that he needed for his shower curtain, right? Except that he was an accountant. So he like made a list of like which colors he had, how many he counted. And he discovered that some of them were like, there was like one that was clear and one that was purple. And he's like, I guess those must be like the rare ones. So he started buying more of them and trying to buy more of these like clear ones or purple ones. And that's when the fad started, where it got so insane that one shower curtain ring cost a week's salary.
Wow.
Yes, a week's salary. And you had like celebrities walking around with like shower curtain rings around their necks and stuff. Yeah, it was insane. And
Oh
then,
my.
Are
as
you
quickly as
serious?
I'm totally serious, I'm not making this up.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's even in Wikipedia. It was called Cechka, Cecka, and it literally means letter C because they were shaped like the letter C. So, and yeah, this really happened.
Wow,
Yep.
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 that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they had things like that here. They had remember the Cabbage Patch dolls or the
The Beanie
Elmo,
Babies.
Tickle Me Elmo, and the
Beanie
Furbies,
Babies.
huh?
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies, yes. Who didn't collect a Beanie Baby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
Beanie
Um,
Babies were a mind mess because people thought they were gonna retire off of the Beanie Babies because they buy these rare ones, and as long as they have the tag on it, they're worth more money. And I still know people with like um, those boxes and the end of like military boxes. There's the name for it.
Oh
Foot
yeah,
lockers,
ammo
foot lockers,
casings. Yeah.
full of
Oh
Beanie Babies with plastic clips over the paper tags so you can preserve the tag.
that's
And of
ins-
course,
wow.
yeah.
they're probably worth maybe what they bought them for, if that. And
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh no, these are really super rare." And people like, "Yeah, that's if someone would want to buy them because they're on eBay. If you look on eBay, you can see these outrageous prices, but again, you see no one buying them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
it's such a small market too because, like, people aren't, like you or me or whoever, we're not interested in Beanie Babies no more. But it's just this niche market of probably these little Beanie Baby collector people who are, oh yeah, I got like 20 of them. I paid $300 for this one. Oh boy. And then when they go to sell it, well, they only got like 50 guys out there that are buying Beanie Babies, and they don't need that
Well,
one.
what?
one of my friends was like a super careful kind of guy, a smart guy too, and he got conned. He bought two of these Beanie Babies for $350
Oh,
because he was at a flea market and this guy had like printed up like graphs like showing like the increase of prices and prices. He's like, so theoretically, according to this graph, you're going to be a millionaire in what, 10
Mhm.
years? If you buy two of these things.
all I'm saying, well, see, I'd look at the guy and say, well, if the graph says you're going to be a millionaire in a few years, why are you selling them?
Exactly. Yeah. Why are you selling them? Yeah. Yeah.
You just keep them and you'll be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand. See, the gimmick is the graph. The guy made the graph, and just like my buddy, who sends me these TikToks, and I yell at him and I say they're fake. They're fake, man. This is fake. It's all a smoke and mirrors. It's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Research this a little bit before you send it to me and say this has got to be true, because most people go, wow, I seen it on TikTok, that the moon is now, once it gets behind the sun, it's going to come crashing down into the earth and we're all going to perish and die.
Yeah.
Do you really believe that high school kid or guy that's trying to make videos that yesterday he was making one about how his cat was jumping off a roly-poly ball onto the furniture or something, and now he's making a claim that day and the moon's going to crash into the earth, and you're saying he's correct? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
But who's promoting that? It's the TikTok algorithm. There's
Mm,
something that's pushing this kid to to the masses. So
yeah,
this kid might be nuts, but something that there's a vehicle that he's riding that just
yeah.
push it out to the people. If you know, uh, Facebook, they have that truth, and then they would edit what you wrote. But
Hmm.
I would say 90% of the ads that I get on Facebook are scams.
Mm-hmm.
They're pure scams. So
Yeah.
Facebook is big on about what I print, make sure it's truthful. But if you pay for it, you can print, you can put anything on your ads. And
Hmm.
that's, what vehicle are we, that's feeding us information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's designed to scam us.
When I was a kid, my mother, I loved Godzilla as a kid in 1970, late 70s.
Hmm.
And the Shogun toy company, they made these robot like things. They made Godzilla. I still have it. It's worth about, if it was in perfect condition, it's worth $1,000. And that's the weird thing. It's like, yeah, it still has value because my mother took so hard because all of them were broken, and she finally found one that wasn't broken. But that's the thing. Trash, as long as if it didn't last very long, cheap Chinese crap, that's the stuff that's worth money later in life if you still have it. While the stuff that's mass produced and everyone, it's going to gain money, as long as there's a lot of them around, there's no money. There's no value.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Trina says, I think they need fear and focus to work their magic. And I do believe this whole thing is about, somebody's doing some magical spells on all of us. We just need to counteract that by doing our own magical spells on them, or to make our way through
ignoring
it. Yeah, ignoring it. Exactly. And that's the whole point of this.
That looks like a red herring. And if something's a red herring, it's a distraction, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And my question then is, what is it a distraction from? Like I said, are they distracting us into fear and hiding in our closet basement or something because something good is coming and they don't want us to see it?
No, it's got to be something to do with the monetary policy or fiscal policy. It's going to be one or the other, because these are typically things that most people don't focus on, but yet they're critically important to everybody's ordinary day-to-day lives. And, it's going to be something to do with the revision of the currency or something like that.
Oh yeah, and see, that's the thing too.
And why do I say that? Because at this point, the national debt of the United States and of the world itself is so high that if you take the national debt of just the United States and you tax the income of the entire world at 100%, you would still not be able to pay it in the next 200 years. In other words, it is unrepayable.
Yes. I thought about that number of years ago, probably 10 years ago, and I says, the guy was saying,
by the way, that's a quote from Ann Barnhart. She's an economist, and that's where I got that information from.
Okay, good deal. Well, but that's the thing. I heard something similar to that many years ago, and I thought, well, I realized they never intend to pay this back.
No.
They just don't. So why not keep charging? Implode it. Yeah, implode it, start something new, and start from scratch again, and you can do it over, and you can last another 50, 60, 70 years, and then do it again. But you know what? Societies have been, if you look back in history, they've been doing it for thousands of years. They've been imploding. Romans did it.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one question.
What?
Who is this money owed to?
Good question.
To ourselves.
If the earth itself owes all this money, who's holding the banknote? Where is, who if got paid, who would receive all this debt?
Indirectly,
money?
We ourselves would receive this money. In other words, it's a scam that we're pulling on ourselves.
So so if the debt was cleared, who would lose money?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody and nobody. Because first of all, the debt cannot be paid because there doesn't exist enough money in circulation to pay it off.
Point being is that let's clear the debt, and what happens? Nothing, except for the really, really rich is going, oh no, I don't have any points, because that's all money's worth is points.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
They still have their gold, they still have their cars, still have their house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just like let's say you have a loan agreement with a bank. That document that you signed that says I owe money to the bank, that's only worth money to the bank for the time period for which you owe that money. The instant you pay that off, that note becomes totally worthless. You could go wipe your ass with it. It doesn't matter. It's only got value for the time period that you're paying it off.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to the question. If all the debts were to be paid off, basically, nothing would happen.
Well, and that's the thing, is that debt you were talking about in the form of a piece of paper, they take that and they sell that debt.
Well, the banks don't even own that debt. They owe someone else who owns that debt. So I think all of it goes back to the Federal Reserve. I think all the money is owed to the Federal Reserve, because the bank borrowed it from the Federal Reserve. So everyone owes the Federal Reserve. You know,
Mhm.
But
so
at the
that was clear. The banks wouldn't suffer anything because it's like, oh, you know,
See, that's the thing. Ultimately, the Federal Reserve, although the chairman is appointed by the president, the makeup of the board of directors is the individual banks, that the major banks of the United States and some international banks, except that the true membership of the Federal Reserve is a closely guarded secret.
well,
You
yeah.
know.
Well, think about it. The chairman is whatever put in place by the president.
hmm
But does the president really choose them, or is the president told who he's going to
He's told.
appoint?
He's told. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's all just smoke and
hmm
mirrors. It's all just a game.
Yeah. It is. It is. hmm
Yeah. Well, the thing is in the day after, because this is the New Life postal eclipse, the day after the eclipse, when nothing happens or maybe something happened, well, whatever. Will they blame it on the eclipse that people have forgotten the 5 minutes of darkness there that they've witnessed in a small little area across the United States and say, well, the world has changed so much, and then look back and say, yep. I mean, we can't remember anything from like 6 weeks ago, but it was that eclipse way back
Yeah.
there that
Well, see,
changed our whole world.
those life-changing events are usually never announced in advance. Was 9/11 announced in advance? No.
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't, and we
Were the
still
George Floyd riots announced in advance? No.
no,
Was
but I'm sure they was
pandemic?
prepared.
The pandemic was kind of announced in advance, but it depends on if you were paying attention or not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just, uh, yeah. I mean, I just have to shake my head on all this.
hmm
What we shouldn't worry about it, because in a day we'll have forgotten everything about the eclipse and we'll be like, it's only 35 more years till the next one.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in my area, what they're freaking out about is no one can get the glasses, the stupid
Uh-huh.
paper glasses.
Uh-huh.
And the
Yeah, I
problem
know.
is, if you go
Mm-hmm.
to the cheap hardware store, you can, for the same price, you can get welder's goggles, because those for the paper thing was like $10 for one of those paper things.
hmm
I'm like, what the hell? I ended up buying them because I didn't I felt bad for the kid. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pay the $10, and
hmm
I won't have dinner tonight. What the hell? I thought it was $2, but it came with a book.
Oh, it did.
But again, everyone's looking for the damn things, and I'm like, do I like sell it to somebody? Because do I really need this stupid thing? Can I just go to the hardware store and buy the welding goggle, which is, you know? But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's going. People are fighting right now. Oh, where are they? We need them. We need them. We need them because we've had months to prepare for this.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
also
Except,
because we expected it to be cloudy during it, but it's going to be a nice day.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that for A7, Andromeda 7, most of the people on there are from Indiana, and Indiana is the one state that's going to be covered by that path of the eclipse, like where most of the state is going to get covered in
Oh,
that
cool.
path of the eclipse. Yeah. In
Yeah, I
other
know
words,
Grandpa
every
Brian's
single
going to
one
be
of
on
them.
mushrooms.
Yeah, Grandpa Brian's going to see it. Everybody's going to see it. Sophia.
Yeah. And it'll probably be cloudy and rainy and nobody will see it anyway. Big
Mm,
deal. There you go.
yeah.
I know.
I mean,
I think it's going to be
I,
nice. It's going to be nice.
I've
Mm-hmm.
lived through a couple of lunar eclipses that everybody was going gaga about, but I slept through every single one of them, and I've never seen one, and I didn't miss it. I was like, why? Like, what's the big deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no big deal. Like I said, 5 minutes, it's over with,
hmm
and you move on with your life, and you go, yeah, I kind of remember that. That's whatever. And you know
Yeah,
what? We've seen more of the eclipse tonight by looking at that picture somebody took way back in the day
hmm
than most people will see in their whole entire lifetime. Just look it up, people. Look at the picture, and there you go. You got it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I guess Max has got to go. Good night. I bet you
Yeah.
he's got a show tonight over on the Max Vision Remote View class. Go over there and check it out. He's got good stuff going on. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like Texas is going to be poor visibility, but Indiana's got good, and Maine has got the best. Maine's got the best view.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I'm looking at. There's a thing that has yellow, green, blue, and red for the eclipse viewing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, it's just a matter of getting, being in the right spot at the right time. Yeah. Max is on tonight. He's over on his show. Here's a link for his show, people. I know some of you got to go over there, so check him out. And we'll be wrapping up here in a few minutes. But good times over there. Improve your brain. I know I like to go over there, but tonight I am just too darn tired. I got to get to bed. But yeah, like I said, there's, people made such a big deal about this, but it's really not a big deal. I think it's fear porn.
Yeah,
I agree with so many of the people who said just keep positive attitude, and in 2 days we'll forget about it, and our life will go on, and maybe we'll be better off for it.
It's like a major anticipated non-event. Like, I don't know if you remember back in, I think it was 84 or 85, during that Ethiopian famine, when they organized like that Hands Across America thing. I was there, and that was hyped in the papers, and that was supposed to be like a huge monumental event where people across the entire United States join hands, and yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
And like the day after, nobody even remembered it. And nowadays, you talk about Hands Across America, and nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even people who were alive back then.
Yeah, remember back in the day, they were trying to raise money to help these people, and every singer star got together and they made a song or something like that.
Well, Live Aid. Yeah,
do you know where that money went? Do you know what happened with that money?
Yeah, what happened to that?
All that food ended up going to like criminals.
Great.
They end up bringing it all in to be disseminated to the people, end up going right to the criminals, and they end up selling it.
Yeah.
Really?
The people, like, I think it was like 10% went to help the people. The other stuff got sold and ended up getting sold in other countries. Russia got some of it. Saudi Arabia got it. It was someone followed it, and that news report didn't last very long. It just went away quickly. That someone squashed it.
Yeah, I expected that. Yeah.
There was a guy actually went to and said, "You're selling," and it was like UN wheat at a market in Russia.
Wow.
Like, wait, this is supposed to go to the people, in the starving people in Africa, and you go, but now it could be yours, that sort of stupid thing. I remember that report. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was so sad. I think that's when I started becoming, I started waking up to what was going on in the world. That no matter how much bleeding heart and how much you want to help, you've got to pay attention, because you can't just give the money. You've got to find out where that money's going.
Yeah. That's also when I started kind of waking up, because my parents, they were into like all these like newsletters, and they used to subscribe to like the Spotlight magazine, which was kind of almost like an underground political magazine newspaper, and you'd find out things in there that the news didn't talk about. And that's how I found out about the fact that the whole reason for that crisis in Africa was not because of a real famine, that it was engineered by the IMF.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I think you hit the key word there. Engineered. All this stuff is engineered, and the future will be engineered. I think the best we can do is engineer our own future, because if we follow theirs,
At the same time, everybody's saying like, oh, don't trust the government. You got to be a prepper and grow your own food and all this shit. And I'm like, that's not an efficient use of time, because if you were to go back to like the 1800s and just start with chopping your own firewood, you know, I've done that. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes up months and months just to prepare for one winter, and that's
Yeah.
just your wood, right? Now
Hmm.
that doesn't include your food. In other words, you're going to spend every waking moment of your life just to stay alive,
Hmm.
just to stay alive. Where instead of that, you could be working just a 40-hour job a week and making not only enough money to stay alive, but also to prosper, to be able to afford luxuries like, I don't know, like the internet, like a
Hmm.
car, like heat.
Yeah. Yeah, time for leisure things, and I
Yes.
agree. I mean, I like to do this Native American myths and legends and listen to all that stuff. And back in the day, a normal family would have, a girl would get married at 14 or 15, and she would be pregnant until she was 30 or so years old, having popping out kids, and more than likely she would probably die in that time period having a child. Half of the kids that she did have would die of illness or sickness or disease somewhere along the line. And you would not have a long, prosperous life, because you would get you would see your friends and family die early too, because the age of living was violent and terrible and disease ridden, because just didn't have those conveniences, and you had to work, like you said. You maybe you're homesteading on the prairie, but you got to go out and cut all that wood, and you got to build your own house, and you just can't go to town to buy the things you need when you need them, because you don't have any money in the first place.
Hmm.
Second place, they're probably not available, and it's a long ways to town in a horse and buggy.
Hmm.
And so you make everything. You churn your butter, you milk your cow, you grow your hay, your crops, and you and your 12 kids spend day and night trying to do this. In the meantime, trying to survive while half of them die and you're having funerals on the way.
Hmm.
Wow, I want to go back to those days.
Uh, people people don't see the big picture. They don't see the fact that the standard of living for the average person, no matter where you live, is getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding the fact that we're still not doing too well. When you consider the fact that half the global population was on $2 a day or less. But in terms of like the global West, like United States, Europe, Japan, Australia, those countries have always been doing well, and there's never been a better time to be alive than today. I wouldn't want to be alive like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, because they didn't have the internet. Because
Yeah,
all
but
they had was TV, newspapers, books, and you wanted to find information. You had to go down to the library, go check out the card catalog, find
yeah.
find the right topic, go to the reference section, pick out the book, then make photocopies or write it down. It was such bullshit, right?
Well,
Even
the long
even the
way of
automation
doing.
technology sucked. I mean, we had an ASR 33 teletype machine in the home. That thing was such a pain in the ass. I hated that thing. You know, or the first computers, they sucked. I had a 286 with no hard drive, where you had to load the operating system on two 5 1/4 floppies when you turned it on. You'd load the operating system, then take out the floppies, then insert two floppies for whatever program you wanted to run, then run that, and yeah, you were up and running for so long
Wow.
as your power stayed on, and you didn't shut your computer off. In which case, you'd have to repeat the whole process and reload the operating system again because it had no hard disk. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember those days. I remember I had one of those, and one of my neighbors in college want to use my computer to write up his resume. I'm like, yes, okay, no problem, but please, every 2 minutes, save it. I'm like,
yeah.
what do you mean save it? I'm like, just save it. And of course, I think he had like a 4-page resume back. Who knows why?
Hmm.
And then he got this error message. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's good. It's good you saved it because, but how to get my resume back? I'm like, no, it is gone. I told you to save it every 2 minutes. He goes, I forgot. I'm like, you got to write this whole thing over again.
Ah.
Because that's the thing. Those computers, they had no memory. And if there was a small memory, hiccup, unknown surge, you wouldn't know. It would just be a little error message at the bottom of the thing with a couple of text,
Yeah. Yeah. And plus, you were relying on 5 1/4 diskettes, which were unreliable, notoriously unreliable.
I had so many of them anyway. So yeah, it was one of the things where you'd save on one and you use another one and then you keep switching back and forth.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was my roommate. He said, no, I don't have a color monitor, and his game was all in color. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a color monitor? It's in color. He goes, no, the game is in color. I'm like, but if you didn't have a color monitor, it doesn't matter. The game color of the game would be like mine, black and white.
Yeah.
He goes, no. The game's in color. That's why I can see it in color. The guy was a moron. That was my favorite thing. Trying to convince this guy that his monitor is better than mine.
Yeah.
He had money. He had a lot of money. He didn't like to admit to it, and I didn't care.
Yeah. Back then, even technology sucked. Back then,
everything sucked.
Yeah, everything sucked. I mean, placing an international call costs like $2 a minute. Nowadays, the concept of an international call, it's not even a thing, right?
Yeah, we're on an international call right now for an hour.
Exactly. You know how much this would have cost me back in the day? Like $2 a minute?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like $120 just for the last hour that we've been talking.
You better be rich, right?
Yeah.
Even a few years ago, my wife had to buy a special card so she could call her parents in Thailand. Yeah. Now it's all just, and it's even better now. She can actually call them in video call, and I think there's an app in Thailand. It's like Zoom, just same thing. You can use it on your tablet and you just talk like normal.
Yeah, Skype. I use it all the time.
It's crazy, It's like. It's like 10 cents a minute, and you had to recharge the card. If you didn't, they would cut you off if you used all your minutes.
Yeah.
Now it's all free, almost. Just up to the internet.
Even like 10 years ago, it sucked. In other words, it's getting better and better and better. Even though, yes, we do have hiccups along the way. We have things like COVID, things like malfeasance in high places. But that's always been a fixture of political life. No matter where you are, it's
all just a show. We're just puppets.
Exactly.
And with puppets, we will be until we change things the way they are. And the only way you can change that is to be the frequency you want to receive, right?
Absolutely.
Change your focus. If you're going to focus on just the negative bullshit, then you're going to get more negative bullshit.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Nina says, I remember when it was $1 a minute to call Norway. Yeah, I imagine. International calls. Trina, Mary's probably on Lucky's channel. So there you go. Lucky's got his channel. She probably is on the wrong live chat.
Oh, that's Mary is. Mary is on the wrong channel. You're right.
Yeah, she's on your channel. But anyway, she's still in my chat on here, so that's where I'm seeing her. Anyway, Joe says one of my daughters lives in Peru, and I talked to her with the cell phone. Seems really weird, but that's the thing. Yes, Max Vision is on tonight. Here is his link right here. He's on right now, so go over there, Mary, and check it out. You can join him there too, because we're going to wrap this up here in a second. Because because tomorrow night you got to rest up, because tomorrow night you're going to go over and join Nina the Mystic. She's going to be live on Facebook and Twitter. I think it is Twitter and Facebook. I'll be joining her over there, and then she'll be posting it to Rumble, because everything is getting posted to Rumble now. I'm on a boycott against YouTube myself, trying to watch more things on Odyssey and Rumble because of all the darn commercials they have. I'm sick of the commercials, YouTube. Put it that way. Anyways, that's my ploy.
The commercial situation is a bit egregious. Yeah. And the worst thing is that I'm getting all these commercials in Japanese and I don't understand Japanese.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I got a new channel on Rumble myself. I got a Twitter account. I'm doing all those things. All that stuff will be posted over there in Odyssey. It's all the stuff is in links below in the description. Check it out. Go subscribe to my Rumble channel, Nina's Rumble channel. Wayne's got a Rumble channel over there. Go check them out. Subscribe. Watch them on that channel. Get your notifications as you can. And if you see it on YouTube, it's probably on Rumble or Odyssey or something. Go watch it there. No commercials. And they say a lot more stuff. You can talk pretty freely over there. So check it out. And that's my spiel for tonight. Thank you both for coming on. Any last things about the eclipse you want to talk about?
I don't have much,
Yeah, there isn't much. That's the point. And there isn't much. It's an eclipse. It's going to come and go. And we're going
to... It's going to be like this big because the size of the sun, you got to look up and go, what the hell is it? Get your glasses on because you can't. The glasses are black. You can't see anything. Where the hell's the sun? Okay, fine. Oh, yeah. It's smaller than a dime. Oh no.
Yeah, that's it. We've spent more time talking about the eclipse than it will actually happen, and then we'll move on. And in a week, we'll forget about it. You turn on the news and you go, "Oh yeah, there was the eclipse. Somebody videotaped it. Oh yeah, okay, I watched it. Yep, it's over." And then you'll go back to your normal life, and we'll all be right back here next Saturday night.
And you can bet anything that there's going to be TikTok videos out there showing various people filming anomalies during the eclipse. Like, this guy's filmed a
the Devil's Comet coming.
There's a comet, yes, yeah, and who knows what else. So
and if they can't find something, they will make up something.
Yeah, so take it with a Buick-sized grain of salt.
Yeah. Nina says there's more eclipses in the fall. Oh my gosh, it's probably during the election. Oh, run for the hills, people. Anyway, with that, everyone, thank you guys for coming on tonight and talking about this crazy, wild, unbelievable subject. And thank you all for joining us tonight. We got a lot of people in the house. Nina's in the house. Don't forget to go over to Rumble and check her out. Show coming on tomorrow night, Twitter and Facebook. Join us there live. Mary Wins, Pa Joe, Trina Phoenix. Let's see. We had new people in here tonight. Bridget. Yeah, I guess that's it. B-R-I-G. Bridget. Okay. Bridget. Anyway, Lady Spitfire. I'm always bad with names, people. Sorry. F Kitty, Max Vision. He's having a show right now. Off the Hook. And let's see, who was in? Steve Bowe was in the house. He was taking the kids on Monday to look at the eclipse, and Slightly Slanted Sleuth of the Truth and Courtney MC. All these people. Koji, Princess of Peace, was in the house tonight. Oh boy, yeah, we had a bunch of people. Thank you all, each and all, for joining us tonight, because without this, with the support that you give me, I couldn't do this show. I'd probably give up and go away. But yeah, it's about being the frequency you want to receive, everybody. Love you all. See you soon. Peace, everybody.